In the summer of 2016, fans of Gravity Falls were basking in the glow of an incredible series finale and enjoying a nice summer break filled with binge rewatching the series and thinking they had gotten all Gravity Falls had to give them. Little did they know that show creator Alex Hirsch had been hard at work on one more mystery and had been working on it before the series had even ended. He had been secretly hiding clues across the globe, laying the foundation for one of the greatest treasure hunts the world had ever seen. Officially named Cipher Hunt, this ARG was going to capture the minds of the greatest puzzle solvers in the Gravity Falls fandom. Their riddle-solving abilities would be put to the ultimate test as they scavenged the globe for the elusive Bill Cipher. But before we dive into the meat of Cipher Hunt, we have to establish the rules. A simple set of rules were given to participants that went as follows. This is an unofficial fan tribute treasure hunt made by just Alex Hirsch. It has no affiliation with any company. No trespassing or vandalism. Everything is in a public place. Be respectful to your surroundings. Don't be a dummy. Be careful. You search at your own risk. If you encounter Bill, whatever you do, don't shake his hand.
Come on, shake his hand. You know you wanna.
Just to take a step out of the hunt for a moment, it baffles my mind that fans of Gravity Falls are this good at riddles and ciphers. My brain just doesn't work that way. If I were in charge of finding Bill, we would still be searching for him to this day. Now, some fans had already theorized that Bill existed somewhere in the world before the hunt even began. Due to this shot in Weirdmageddon 3, they knew he existed somewhere, and now with the hunt on, it was just a matter of deciphering all the clues and finding him. It all began with a tweet. Let the games begin. Hashtag FLSKHUKXQW, accompanied by this cryptic image depicting Bill in a forest with various runes and iconography above him. The hashtag was no doubt a cipher, and the image was filled with them, but fans quickly got to work. Using the original Caesar cipher from the show, they were able to decode the hashtag to read, and just like that, the game's begun. The same decoder was used on the text above Bill's head, giving us the phrase, "The urban legend has come true. Cipher statue calling you. The secret map is in your hand to trace the clues across the land." This clued in fans that the Cipher Hunt would probably be a large-scale quest, and not just a local scavenger hunt. The banner of numbers right above Bill's head was next. Using the A1Z26 cipher, then putting it through an @bash cipher, and then finally shifting the letters 3 back, the word Pines was revealed. This seemed like just a reference to the Pines family, but would prove to be a more direct hint later on. The text below Bill also used the 3-letter Caesar cipher and says, "Don't forget, it's all for pleasure. The hunt itself is the real treasure, but a prize awaits the first one there. Be safe, be smart, and of course, beware." This was a gentle reminder for fans to enjoy the hunt itself and not worry too much about being the first one to solve every clue, encouraging them to work together as a community on this once-in-a-lifetime journey. There was more to be decoded in the first image, but fans wouldn't figure out everything for quite a while. What they did figure out, though, was that the red letters in both sets of cryptograms, after being translated, gave out the word Russia. And the leftmost drawing on the image had a striking resemblance to Kazan Cathedral in St. Petersburg, Russia. Russian fans pointed out that Alex had visited Russia in April of that year for Big Fest Russia, which was a fandom convention. Following the big red circle on the image led fans to the correct part of the cathedral where a note was found. Finally, the hunt can begin, so switch your ruples out for yen. Turn left when you're at the shrine's door. When you reach the statue, turn left once more. In the leftmost corner in the back is the info you lack. A sword and crescent mark the clue, Cipher statue calling you. I'm sure to the disappointment of Russian fans, the next clue was somewhere in Japan. In February, Alex had visited Japan and tweeted out this image of Grunkle, Stan, and Mabel making a wish drawn on a piece of wood. Japanese fans were able to identify the shrine as Kanada Myojin Shrine in Tokyo, where people commonly hang wooden prayer tablets with their goals and aspirations written on them. The prayer scroll with the scimitar and crescent was found with another clue to be decoded written on it. Decoded, the message read, "Consider in your quest for truth the hunter of the Fountain of Youth. 400 before his name is written, outside the gate where it's hidden." Find what's lost to pass the test from a shrine that's east to a shrine that's west. 6,800 miles later, fans found themselves in Atlanta, Georgia, at 400 Ponce de Leon Avenue. Juan Ponce de Leon was a conquistador in the early 1500s who journeyed with Columbus to the New World. De Leon was searching for the Fountain of Youth, but ended up discovering Florida instead. At the Florida address was a shrine known as Yarub Shrine Temple, where a missing poster sign for Waddles was found. Though faded and sunbaked, fans were still able to just barely read the piece of paper. Once decoded, it read, "Across from the stones of the springs, you'll find some peculiar things. Tied to a root is a lone pink key. Dig to find what waits for thee." But there's also just some fun stuff on the poster as well, including some personal information about Waddles, which reads, name, Waddles, sex, ? Breed, pig, weight 15 pounds, last seen sitting around some rocks near a creek. Additional info, oink oink.
I miss getting my tummy tickled.
It also had a number to call, which needed to be reversed to work, but when called, played the following voicemail.
Hello, it's Grunkle Dad, and I have a riddle for you. What has 2 legs during the day, 4 legs during the night, and it's red and white? I don't know. I'm no good at this riddle. It's an ochre court, all right? The next clue, it's an ochre court. It's like a big old building in Rhode Island, and you go up some stairs, and there's gonna be a bunch of pictures of nuns on the wall. You gotta look behind one of the nun pictures. Sister Mary Hilda Miley. Real grouchy, that nun. Lift up the picture, you find the clue behind the nun, alright? That's the whole thing. Be careful with the picture, don't break it. I don't want you to get anyone in trouble, alright? You don't want Uncle Sam going to jail. Anyway, go to the place, look behind the nun, find the thing, and always look out for mysteries.
The place in Rhode Island Stan was referring to was Sal Virginia University, which has a building named Ochre Court. Tragically though, before the hunt even began, the university found and disposed of the next clue, leaving fans unable to find the next steps, and the hunt ended forever. Not really. Upon being informed of the missing clue, Alex said he would find a replacement clue and reveal it on July 21st at 12:30. In the meantime, a few tweets were put out by the official Gravity Falls Cipher Hunt Twitter account. The first read, "The nuns have won, but the battle's not lost. We are still far from done. Find the pink key or pay the cost," pointing fans back towards the Waddles poster and informing them that the pink key was going to need to be found. The second tweet read, "When one branch closes, another path may still open. Return to what was, and try again while awaiting something new," which seems to be a misdirect in order to buy Alex and his team time in order to make and place a new clue. At the time and date promised, Alex tweeted out the number from the Waddles poster and told fans to leave a voicemail. The missed call message had Grunkle Stan saying the following.
A man whose first name is his last, a statue honoring his past. Right behind him, by the sign of his park, a golden head shows light in the dark. I don't know what that means. Glad I don't have to go out there and figure this out. Wonder what's on TV.
First name is his last led fans to Griffith J. Griffith Park in Los Angeles, California. Here, a golden head of Stan was found. A little lore about this clue. It was created by Matt Chapman for the 2014 Gravity Falls Season 2 trailer premiere, and Alex, in a rush to make a new clue, after the nun debacle, spray painted it gold and shoved a note inside before hiding it in the park. The paper inside the head appeared to be blank, but when shined with a black light, revealed a cryptic text, which was traced by the finder of the clue. After decoding the paper, it read, 50 plus 50, that's a city. From one angle, it's quite pretty. You'll find a bow tie and one eye. At its head is a rectangle, stones by stairs. Atop the top right angle, the stones with the UV swirl can glow. Find the black pouch that's below. Now don't worry about getting your calculators out. I'm a bit of a math whiz. 50 plus 50 is 100. Century City is a district in Los Angeles where the next clue was found. And when viewed from above, a park in the city is shaped into the Eye of Providence, aka the All-Seeing Eye, aka Bill. Fans, along with Alex Hurst and Jason Ritter, the voice of Dipper, went to the park and found the black pouch which contained a USB with a picture of Bill on it. On the flash drive was the following audio.
Howdy, treasure hunters. Grunkle stand here to tell you about the next clue. Whoa! Who are you?
It is me, Sister Mary Hilda Miley, and I decree that you shall never find the treasure.
Some kind of ghost has flown into the mystery shack here. She's got a ruler in her ghost hand. Ow! Hey!
I am the spirit of seriousness. I hate anything fun. Carbonated beverages, boys and girls holding hands at school dances, and most of all, I hate treasure hunts. Also Knuckles.
Ow! Zeus, get the vacuum cleaner.
Yes, sir, Mr. Pines.
No, my one weakness, a creative solution. I'll be back. You'll never find the treasure.
Good job, Zeus. Have a chicken nugget.
To me, this is a raise.
All right, kids. The next clue is a kind of tricky one. You see, this is one that can only be found by someone who is currently in the building it is hidden in. That's right. I'm looking for students at the California State Summer School of the Arts. Only CISA students can find this clue. I don't want anybody else going to CISA. All right? You're not allowed in. Only students there are allowed in. Students, scour the sub-level. You'll know it when you see it. And watch out for Sister Miley's ghost! Seriously.
Students of CSSSA, which is the art school that Alex attended, quickly found a graffiti of Bill Cipher on the sub-level of the campus. This clue required a new type of decoder as it was a hex code, and when decoded, gave the following coordinates: 37 degrees 4919 north and 122 degrees 1359 west. Pop that into maps and you get Piedmont, California, the hometown of Dipper and Mabel, as well as Alex and Ariel Hirsch. The coordinates, as well as the rhyme from the Waddles Missing poster, and with a little help from Alex himself, fans found a pink key tied to a stump, along with a chest that contained a cryptext that required a 5-letter code to open, which was of course Pines from the original image. Upon opening the cryptext, the 7th clue was found, along with a second key. The clue read, LA has the clue you want, 1825 North Vermont, 27128's the box for thee, don't be puzzled, use the key. At the address in the clue was a P.O. box numbered 27128, and what do you know? The key worked to open it. The opening was a little bit of an event, as a small crowd of fans waited outside the post office for the key holder to arrive. Jason Ritter and Jeffrey Rowe hung out with them and handed out a few copies of Dipper and Mabel and the Curse of the Time Pirate's Treasure before it was released. That book, by the way, is a choose-your-own-adventure book, and it's where the majority of the axolotl lore comes from. Anyways, inside the P.O. box was a 2,000-piece jigsaw puzzle in a bag. Now, I don't know if you've ever done a jigsaw puzzle, but 2,000 pieces is a lot, and it's especially difficult to do them if a majority of the pieces are just yellow. The bag also contained a drawing of Bill that said, "I hope you like puzzles," and 37 stand bucks, with invisible ink on the back of them that read Philbrick. The puzzle was a bit of an ordeal. Fans worked on it at a local pizza shop, but couldn't finish the puzzle before the shop closed. After that, a few fans worked on it overnight at one of their houses, and the puzzle was toured around different local places over the next few days, with fans coming and going, volunteering their time in order to get the puzzle finished. Alex even had to tweet out various images of partially completed parts of the puzzle to help fans figure it out. Upon finally finishing the puzzle, well, almost, it was revealed to be Bill Cipher hovering above a gnome with the runes under him, as well as various cryptic symbols along the sides of the puzzle. The code read, corner of Northeast Tillamook in Northeast Rodney, with the portion under the gnome saying corner and the symbols on the sides making up the rest of the clue. Fans actually found the clue before the physical puzzle was finished by completing it online, but Alex encouraged them to finish the physical version with the incentive that if they did, he would release the pilot of Gravity Falls. which they did, and now the pilot's on YouTube. I'll have it linked in the description if you want to watch it. The next clue led searchers to Portland, Oregon. A fan who lived in Portland had been keeping up with the hunt online and just so happened to take a walk to the spot mentioned in the clue and found a large gnome that resembled the one in the puzzle. Underneath the gnome was the 9th clue, along with a viewmaster. The clue read, "To the redwoods you must race. If you're confused, you're in the right place. The gift shop is not too far. The password will buy the eyeball jar." The viewmaster contained slides of Confusion Hill, which is the tourist trap that the Mystery Shack is based on, located in Mendocino, California. Fun fact, one of the slides was a picture of Snoqualmie Falls, which is a waterfall prominent in Twin Peaks.
I'm back.
A show which heavily inspired the cryptic aesthetic and mysterious vibe of Gravity Falls. But now the race was on to Confusion Hill. Fans showed up too early and had to wait for the shop to open. When it did, they asked for the pair of eyeballs behind the counter, but needed a password to be allowed to handle it. The password was Philbrick from the Stanbucks. On the bottom of the jar was the 10th clue, which said, "Where has my grunkle stand gone? To Stanley Street in Oregon. A telephone pole is where he's at. Why do you have to bolt like that?" Alright, enough with the Cipher Hunt, let's get back to these fun facts. It turns out this wasn't the first time the jar had been found by fans. A few days before the gnome was found, a fan named Riley was moving to Oregon and decided to stop at Confusion Hill as part of their move. She asked the store owner if they were taking part in the Cipher Hunt. Without knowing what step fans were at in the hunt, the employees told Riley that indeed they were a part of the hunt, but she would need a password in order to see their clue. Having been following the hunt online, Riley was able to get the password right after a few tries and get a hold of the jar. Once the store owners realized their folly, they contacted Riley, somehow, and got her to tweet pictures of the jar so the hunt could continue. The next clue was found on Stanley Street in Amity, Oregon, inside a geocache vault. Inside the vault was a narrow strip of paper that read, "Roger Toff knows the place behind a sign buried at the base. Near Paws Laundry on the hill, here lies the bones of a man named Bill." After some research, fans learned that Roger Toff was the creator of the Enchanted Forest amusement park in Turner, Oregon. However, this wasn't the original plan for that clue. The original plan was going to be in Maple Park, Oregon, but when driving there, Alex Hirsch and Ian Worrell were distracted by a billboard for the Enchanted Forest amusement park and went to check it out. They ended up spending almost the entire day there and didn't have the time to drive both a few hours out of the way to Maple Park and still have time to get to Stanley Street. So the Maple Park clue was cut and morphed into the Enchanted Forest clue. At the park is a sign which reads, "Here lie the bones of a man named Bill, second fastest draw in Tofteville." Buried under the sign was a ripped piece of paper with a coded clue on one side and a portion of a map on the other. The clue read, "Return to where it all began. The final clue is in your hand. The parchment can be such a tease, the answer's written in the trees." This final clue really stumped hunters. It pointed to the initial image having the clue needed to find the final prize, but looking at the trees, fans just couldn't figure it out. After a few days with no further progress, Alex tweeted out a second hint. "An urban legend arcade game, give the method's correct name. Mathematically the letters hide, in branches and knots, no matter the side." The aforementioned arcade game is of course Polybius, which keeps coming up in these videos, so maybe I should make a little lore video on it. But essentially, it's an anomalous fictional arcade cabinet that transcribes your mind and gives that data to the government, much like Instagram. It turns out there is a decoder known as a Polybius square used by the ancient Greeks that used symbols to represent sets of words or letters in order to store more information in a smaller text, basically the world's first file compression. Cipher hunters needed to find a pattern in the branches, needles and knots of trees in the initial Cipher Hunt image that could be converted into pairs of numbers. But not just that, they also needed to figure out which Polybius square was used since it had to match the original encoder. An American Cryptogram Association member named Michael Antonucci was on the case. By the way, did you even know that such an organization existed? It has such a cool name. I mean, it's just a bunch of nerds doing puzzles all day, but it does sound really cool. Through cryptoanalysis, which also sounds really cool, and assuming the location ended in OR for Oregon, he was able to reverse crack the code and get the message Reedsport, Oregon, the city of the final location. And here's a quick explanation from Michael that he tweeted out. If you guys can stand another theory, here it is. 18 branches, 4 knots equals 22. Polybius needs pairs, so 11 letters, 5 different types. Bare branches slanted up, bare branches slanted down, branches with leaves slanted up, branches with leaves slanted down, and knot. Assign each one of those type a number 1 through 5 randomly. The letters themselves will come out gibberish, but it does tell us which letters repeat and which letters don't. There are 7 different letters in the 11, and the pattern goes X, Y, Y, Z, A, B, C, X, D, C, X. It doesn't matter what letters you use, what's important is that the first, 8th, and last letters are the same. The 2nd and 3rd are the same, and the 7th and 10th are the same. Big deal, right? But if we assume the last 2 letters are O-or as in Oregon, then we get R-Y-Y-Z-A-B-O-R-D-O-R. If the first letter is a consonant, then 2 and 3 have to be a vowel. And since we've already used O, the only possibility is E. So now we have R-E-E-Z-A-B-O-R-D-O-R, and the only place that fits, Reedsport, Oregon. The biggest problem is that the entire town isn't specific enough, even with the map in the upper left and the X. I just wanted to memorialize my theory here and see if anyone can add to it or shoot it down. The last problem was solved by Alex himself, retweeting tweets in a kind of hot and cold fashion that helped fans narrow in on exactly where within the city the map was pointing to. Also, later that same day, the code was cracked using the correct Polybius square, and even looking at it now, I really can't understand it, so here's the explanation if you're smarter than me. Pause if you like. Overlaying the dotted line with the right location in Reedsport gave fans the correct path to follow, and the Cipher Hunters raced to the final location to see what awaited them. Deep in the woods of Oregon they found it, a physical manifestation of Bill Cipher himself, sitting on the forest floor with moss-covered skin, staring out unblinkingly into the eyes of those who found him. Fans quickly disregarded the warnings not to shake his hand, and uploaded photos of them doing so, including one where they sacrificed a baby's soul. Digging in front of the statue, a treasure chest was found, which included Russian and Japanese currency, gems, a 1-in-1 copy of Journal 3, which included special drawings by Alex Hirsch, a blacklight, a sash that read Mayor of Gravity Falls, a music box with Bill's eye that played the Gravity Falls theme song, a miniature statue of Bill, a frame sketch, and a USB drive. When a blacklight is shown onto the drawings in Journal 3, we can see a message from Bill saying, "Stay paranoid." There is also a blank strip of paper inside the music box that, when investigated with a blacklight, read, "Congratulations on finding the Bill Cipher statue. Bill's final resting place. Whosoever finds this treasure is hereby the new mayor of Gravity Falls. So use your title well. Chances are you didn't do it alone, so share the wealth. You are an amazing fan. Your pal, Alex Hirsch." Because of this, user Shadow_Wolfwind changed her username to official Gravity Falls Mayor, which it remains to this day. The frame sketch also had a hidden image of the main characters with their eyes glowing, just how they do when possessed by Bill, accompanied by the text,
Trust no one.
On the USB drive were a few different files. One is an audio file of Gruntle Stan singing "We'll Meet Again," a callback to Bill singing the same song in the finale.
We'll meet again. Don't know where. Don't know when.
A text document with the title, "My ex-wife still misses me, but her aim is getting better."
Wife still misses me, but her aim is getting better. Her aim is getting better.
And when opened in Notepad, a text reading, "Return backwards to the past again 3 appears," which is a reference to Back to the Future 3, as well as to the letter Blendon Blandon sent Dipper and Mabel from the past, which is featured in Journal 3. And finally, a link to Bradley's Twitter account. Wait, who's Bradley? In a very Bill Cipher-esque fashion, he was found before the hunt even began. Bradley was a resident of Reedsport, Oregon, and Keeley not a fan of Gravity Falls. One day when on a walk, he came across Bill before the show had even ended. Perplexed by this strange idol in the forest, Bradley took a picture and posted the image to the Unsolved Mysteries subreddit. Luckily, the post never gained much traction, no Gravity Falls fans saw it, and the one fan who did see it was the person running the Cipher Hunt Twitter page. User @TheMysteryOfGravityFalls contacted Alex Hirsch to inform him of the leak. Alex got in touch with Bradley and offered him a crisp $100 bill to take down the post and stay quiet about the situation until the hunt was concluded. Bradley obliged. But that's not the full story. Before the Cipher Hunt started, Alex realized a critical mistake. He had forgotten to add Grunkle Stan's recording to the USB stick that was buried under the statue. So, he contacted the one other person who knew where the statue was. Bradley dug up the treasure and decided to write his name on a few of the foreign bills. He added the "My ex-wife still misses me, but her aim is getting better" file to the USB, along with another file named Hi. When the file was opened, it was a link to Bradley's Twitter account, a move that Alex Hirsch referred to as legendary, which it is a pretty sick move to cement your place in the history of Gravity Falls in such a way. And that would be the end, if it weren't for all those invisible lines in the sand. Due to a property dispute, the statue was seized by local authorities the day after being discovered. You see, the statue was placed 117 feet to the left of where it was supposed to be placed, and thus fell on the wrong property. And the property owner, being concerned about all these strangers showing up on their land, had the statue removed. And apparently the statue was deliberately made hard to remove in order to make sure no one took it before the hunt started. So the property management team had a very difficult time removing the statue, which is kind of funny. The #SaveBill movement began, and Alex Hirsch had to contact the Reedsport authorities in order to reclaim the statue from police custody. At some point in all these happenings, Bill lost his hat and suffered some minor damages. After reclaiming the statue, it was moved around Oregon a few times before finding its forever home at none other than Confusion Hill, a very poetic ending to the Odyssey of Bill. He is still housed there to this day and adorning a brand new hat. The puzzle is housed there as well, and a new treasure box, where fans can leave little notes and artifacts to commemorate their pilgrimage to Bill. So, this video is mainly about the actual hunt, so I don't want to run too long here, but I think it would be dissatisfactory not to mention the religious significance of some of the clue locations, as well as a little bit of trivia about the hunt as a whole. As I'm sure you noticed, several of the clue locations held some sort of religious significance. The cathedral in Russia, the shrine in Japan, the temple in Atlanta, and the nuns in Rhode Island. I think it's important to mention that religious significance is not tied to any one religion and is purposely spread across various sects. I think there's a good essay in there somewhere about how religious themes or worship in general relate to Gravity Falls, specifically the worship of idols, but that's for another time. As for the hunt, I think these locations were chosen to help illustrate the point that Bill is an idol, a symbol that can be worshipped and that you can gain great power from, but at the cost of your humanity. Speaking of Bill, the final piece of the puzzle was never found, and Bill is forever missing a piece of his eye. Alex Hirsch did color in a piece of paper that was shaped to fit the puzzle piece, but I think it's been lost somewhere along the way. If you plot out all the locations on a real-world map, you get an image of the Big Dipper. I really love this detail, which, little fun fact, the Big Dipper Alex made on Earth is about 1.135 quadrillionth the scale of the actual Big Dipper. Okay, last bit of trivia. The imas, or prayer boards in the Japanese temple, are burned in order to free up space for the new ones. So both the drawing one and the clue one have been incinerated, just like Bill's home dimension. Alrighty. I think that's about all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to reply to a few comments now, but if you made it this far and don't care to stick around for that, I just want to say one more time, thank you so much for watching, and have a good night, everyone. I want to highlight this comment because I think this is where a lot of the magic lies in coming to really understand and appreciate a show. Yes, shows like Smiling Friends is just a comedy show, or like Gravity Falls is just a kid's show, but if you put that aside and really pay attention to all the details and thought that was put into show by the creator, you can really gain a greater understanding of the show and a more deep appreciation of all the care that was put into it, and you get just a lot more out of the show rather than consuming it passively. I was not expecting so many people to want a Charlie is gay / Charlie lore video, so I'm very excited that people are excited for it because I really wanted to make that video. I just didn't think there would be any interest in it, but since I got quite a few comments talking about it, I think I'm definitely going to make it. I don't know if it'll be the next video, but it's coming very, very soon. And in that same vein, I'm also making a Courage video. That one's going to take a bit longer because I haven't seen the show since I was like 9, so I need to rewatch it, maybe read up on it a little bit just to find out some of the background lore. But I definitely want to make a video about Courage and all the cool horror elements within the show. And just like the aesthetic of the show, I absolutely love this little house, middle of nowhere with an endless road leaving from it. Just such a cool concept. Can't wait to make that video. But yeah, we have reached the end. And one more time, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point in the video, maybe subscribe. I don't like saying it during the video, but we're all the way at the end here. Subscribe if you've made it this far. One final time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.